You were born in a small hospital in northern Vietnam, into a family already struggling to get by. Your father drank heavily, while your mother worked any job she could find. After your father died, she tried to make up for everything you had lost by giving you whatever you wanted. Soon, one thing became taking. When the shop owner caught you stealing, your mother came, knelt down, and begged for forgiveness. At first, you felt ashamed, but the feeling faded, and stealing gradually became normal. By secondary school, you had gathered a small group around you. Together, you stole, bullied other students, extorted money, and started fights. You stole valuables to pay for games and entertainment, and visits to the police station became more often than quiet nights at home. Each time, your mother came to plead for you. Knowing she would always rescue you made you less afraid of the consequences. Little by little, you stopped respecting the law and began to believe it could not touch you. By the end of high school, your reputation as the school's top dog has spread through every classroom. Some students were afraid of you, while others simply could not stand you. But they all seemed to meet the same fate, getting beaten by you. One day, you happened to walk past a younger student and thought he had given you a dirty look. Annoyed, you ordered your boys to drag him to a corner behind the school, where you used him as a punching bag.
The next day,
After taking the beating, the boy brought his older brother to confront you the next day. You recognized the large, heavily tattooed man immediately. He was Hung Bao, the boss even the local gang leaders respected, and someone you had always looked up to. That day, you were beaten within an inch of your life for the first time, but you were stubborn. You endured every blow without crying out or begging him to stop. Hung Bao noticed your toughness, and a few days later, he took you into his crew. Hung Bao made money through loan sharking and violent debt collection. You proved useful and rose quickly, eventually helping run an illegal gambling operation. You earned hundreds of millions of dong a night and spent it on gambling, drinking, and drugs. At a karaoke party, a hostess offered you an ecstasy pill. Addiction followed. You were eventually arrested for drug possession and organizing illegal drug use, then sentenced to 5 years in prison. 5 years later, you walked free into a different world. Law enforcement had tightened, and Hong Bao no longer wanted you. You had no job, home, money, or crew. Angry and abandoned, you no longer knew where you belonged. With only an old phone in your hand, you began scrolling through social media. That was when you realized that the gangsters from your old world had moved online. They still had money, influence, and crowds of people praising them. To you, it looked like a new opportunity. You created an account, started live streaming, and posted videos preaching about street loyalty and brotherhood. Slowly, people began to watch. Your following grew, and so did your income. You recruited new men, made provocative videos, threatened rivals online, and show up nights at karaoke bars and clubs. The more attention you received, the more extreme your content became. You bought a house and a car, built a new home for your mom, and returned to the same reckless lifestyle. Fame began to feel like power, and power made you believe you were untouchable. Online arguments soon became public challenges, and public challenges became real fights. During one clash with a rival group, you fatally injured a man. Everything you had built disappeared. This time, the court sentenced you to 10 years in prison. Looking back, your story did not begin with social media. It has started long before that. From a psychological perspective, growing up around violence, emotional neglect, and unclear boundaries can lead a child to see aggressive behaviors as something normal. A lack of affection can also cause a person to constantly search for protection, recognition, and sense of belonging. For some people, gangs appear to meet those needs. When violence brings money, status, and respect, the behavior is more likely to be repeated and gradually become part of who they are. Social media then amplifies that image. Views, praise, and the sense of safety behind a screen can push a person to act more extremely. Online challenges can also turn into real life conflict when neither side wants to appear weak. However, a difficult childhood does not determine anyone's future, nor can it justify the harm they cause to others. These psychological factors only help us to understand how the process develops. They do not remove the personal responsibility. The lesson is that intervention must begin early, before the violence becomes a habit and gradually shapes the person a child grows into.